More social journey to class 11 or I start hoisile. It started with charity and initiating some little self-initiated things like collecting old clothes and hebur rastar mane jar logot nasile tor log karne donate koratu. Kintu over a period of time, I volunteered in a lot of NGOs and traveled across India, working in organizations to kind of more nizar skill or interest to follow kori. And then I pursued my second master's in social work. আৰু তাৰ পিছত মই social entrepreneurship journey to explore কৰি আছো। মোৰ এটা নিজৰ initiative আছে দুবাৰা কৰি, which is about rethink alternatives, where we kind of educate and share, learn about alternative ways of maybe living our lives, how we can become conscious consumers, like we are consumers at all levels, right? Every time we are consuming something or the other, like food, whatever we wear. So just being conscious about where it comes from, ki ase tar bhitorat, hebur educationer uporat ami kam koribo chesta kori asu. Menstrual waste or disposal to aru yar eta kiba easy solution nai, like if we are still using disposable pads, because ki hoy you cannot flush it down, you cannot burn it yourself, because it like school or tato tumi nije bohi burn korar option nai. You can just throw it in the dustbin and then it will reach the landfill, go to our water system and everything. ठीक है, land pollute koribo hebur ase. Kintu institutions like that, what the government and organizations have been working on is incineration, which is not very safe, but we don't have any other option. I mean, incineration or karne 800 degrees at 4 to 5 minutes iman heatot mane 4 to 5 minutes heat up korar pisote completely combust hoy jay, mane completely ash out convert hoy. But yeah, the incineration or hetu process or junto chemical release hoy hetu ase that's going to our air and polluting our surroundings. So we cannot see those harmful chemicals. So for us ki hoy jabo amar waste to gusi jabo, it will go away from our eyes, but it is really not going anywhere. Sustainable menstruation and the cloth pad, etu bostu to economically sustainable hobo lage for people who are using it. We should be mindful of using those sort of resources which are renewable, which are natural, kind of solar energy. And if we talk about energy, then it's solar, otherwise biodegradable cloth which is free from polyester and plastic. So these are things about sustainability. And menstruation is a very natural phenomenon, which I don't understand why there are so many taboos, but it is something that is a very important part of our lives, right, of humanity, because it is related to our whole reproductive system and how we all exist. Menstruation is about that. So when we merge both of these, basically it comes from that from the product point of view, कि कैसे menstruation को manage करने के लिए आप जो product use कर रहे हो. Even this term also came out from the product point of view, कि हम उस time पे उस चीज को solve करने के लिए हम ऐसा कुछ product use कर रहे हैं जो indirectly or also directly it's affecting our health, affecting the environment, affecting our pockets, which is very unsustainable. कैसे disposable pads में जो हमको white color का चीज दिखता है, which whenever I ask the students or wherever I'm working, they tell that it's cotton. And मुझे भी बचपन में लगता था it is cotton, but it is not really cotton. It's not that रुई कपास जो हम बोलते हैं वो नहीं है. हेतु basically की होए wood pulp होए जब bleach करा जाए. So why is it being bleached is another question again. We are bleaching, the companies who are producing these pads are bleaching it so that it looks white. And because of this process of bleaching, এটা chemical called dioxin hetu release hoy in that in that disposable pad, which is directly again getting into our body. So that is also one of the and that is kind of 80% or say 90% of what the disposable pad is made up of. Toxic chemicals that are there is styrene. It is a kind of carcinogen. Chloromethane, which is a reproductive toxicant. Chloroethane, another type of carcinogen. Chloroform, we all know chloroform, and that is also present in our disposable pads, the Whisper, Stay Free, and those sort of like one-time use pads. एसीटोन जो हमारा आई थिंक नेल पॉलिश रिमूवर में होता है, वो स्पिरिट वाला चीज, दैट इज आल्सो देयर. एंड सम EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals, some allergens, and mostly the scented and fragrances, वो सब भी like chemicals like paraben. আমি হেতু ইমান open jagat use কৰো, and it has the power to secrete, and you know, like we also have this tendency that যেতিয়ালৈকে pad to bhalke fill নহয় আমি নেপেলাও. And there is this thing that we shouldn't use pad, any pad, say be it cloth pad or disposable pad, any product or even just normal cloth for more than 6 hours, because it is something that is inside and it does not get air, and because of that it can cause rashes and irritates the skin. So I would also like to focus on this point, that how our vaginas are self-cleaning, meaning that we don't need to use soaps, amok soap, Dettol, a lot of products like V-Wash, heibur use koribo nalage ami safa rakhiboloi, and we don't even should put a lot of water, because a healthy way of, you know, keeping your vagina is to keep it dry. Those cleaning products also only if the gynecologist is suggesting you for a particular issue, तभी हम like तभी हमें use करना चाहिए उसको. Feminine hygiene products are menstrual pads, which are common. Panty liners करके भी कुछ product आते हैं, which is basically, the idea is to have a kind of liner sort of thing, ताकि वो हमारा उसको dry रखे. While the intention is good, but again this panty liners are also made with the same chemical components, which are again not healthy. So even cloth pads brands like EcoFam also make panty liners, which are basically cloth ka hi hota hai, but it is thin, and that is something which we can use, because there is just cloth and nothing else will go inside, and that's like very safe cotton cloth. Yeah, a lot of spray, anti-itch creams, wipes, and powders for smelling good. So these are some of the products that are there in the market, which we should kind of be aware and use only if it is given to you by the doctor. And what does these products cause? It causes bacterial vaginosis, which becomes like a very big issue. Cervical cancer is one thing that is not directly, like, can't say that using these products एक बार यूज करते ही आपको सर्विकल कैंसर हो सकता है, बट देन सर्विकल कैंसर और ये सब प्रोडक्ट्स के केमिकल्स का बहुत क्लोज रिलेशन दिख रहा है, और इसके ऊपर काफी रिसर्च चल रहा है अभी. इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट आई एम काइंड ऑफ श्योर दैट the project that I worked on was the only project जिसमें हम सस्टेनेबल मेंस्ट्रुएशन और लाइवलीहुड को साथ में लेके आए थे, जिसमें बेसिकली मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वाज द आइडिया फॉर लाइवलीहुड जनरेशन. तो हमने क्या किया, स्टिचिंग एंड टेलरिंग यूनिट्स को क्लोथ पैड डिजाइन करने को सिखाया, स्टिच करने सिखाया, एंड देन दे स्टार्टेड सेलिंग इट. दे created their own brand. Now we are making a website for them. The project has ended last year. Kintu etia loike mane ami website aru hand holding, like there's no money and everything, but then we are still supporting the what we started, because that was kind of all the partners who were involved in this particular project. It is like their personal intention also ki amar ya systematically sustainable menstruation or eta organize hoy. I consult organizations or individuals so that they can design a proper product. And then also on the awareness part also, hum apne organization ke through kaam kar rahe hain. See, there's also this idea that, you know, like how the media and how these corporates have brainwashed us so properly कि in believing कि अगर हम disposable pads नहीं use करते तो बाकी सब कुछ unhygienic है. While unhygienic कौन से point पे है उस पे चर्चा नहीं होता है. जैसे मैंने बताया कि it should be washed properly, it should be dried properly and stored properly. Then it is not unhygienic. It becomes unhygienic when it is left, when the blood in itself is very pure and very nice, very nutritious. But when it comes in contact with air for a longer time, then वहाँ पे chemical reactions होते हैं. But again, all these institutions and whoever is working on, you know, telling that disposable pad is a better solution are not looking at these other points कि कैसे उसपे कौन से type के chemicals filled है, and that also stems from lack of, you know, research. And even the researchers and everything are also funded. When researchers independent research नहीं होते हैं तो उसके results भी बहुत influence रहती है. So these are certain things that I have been learning and which is very scary. I would like to mention one organization that I closely work with, which is called Boond, BOONDH. I've also written Boond cups. They have, they are like a Indian brand. Their production ho yat India te hoye. Aru tahate they just don't sell the product, but they work a lot on the education on menstruation. They cover a lot of areas like gender and, you know, a whole range of things related to menstruation. And then they have this Boond cups, which comes for about 700 rupees, and that can be used for 10 বছৰৰ কাৰণে use কৰিব পাৰে. So if we can যদি আমি calculate কৰিব বিচাৰো কিমান পৰিব, like if it's affordable or not, it comes down to 70 rupees. এটা বছৰৰ 70 rupees হয়, which is quite cheap. Like that's the most inexpensive product, I would say. Yeah, because otherwise jun to ami disposable pads to use kori thaku, minimum the cheapest I know of, I think I haven't been using, but I think it comes for 40 rupees. And people, like whoever is menstruating, they need at least 2 packets, 2 packet lage. So 80 rupees on an average. 80 into 12 is a huge figure as compared to 70 rupees. Yeah, and if you talk about cloth pads, है तो काफी cheap, माने काफी cheap होता है क्योंकि you can use it for 5 years. One pad you can use it for 5 years, and total me you need only 6 to 8 pads. And if it cost around 150 or 200 also, it is costing you 1600 rupees. And if you calculate the 80 rupees के हिसाब से for 5 years, it comes to around 4,500 or something. So you are saving around 3,000 rupees. So sustainable menstrual products are also economically sustainable after the product gets used. Yeah, so I was also working with Akshar Foundation, the school. They also had some piece of cloth which was been donated by some international organization, and they invited me to kind of give this education and awareness and then distribute the cloth to their students, which I did. And because whenever I'm working with some product, I have to use it myself so that I understand, you know, actually kaisa hai ye cheez. So I took a sample from them and I have been using it, and I think it's there with me since 2 years. It's a small, handkerchief size of cloth, and that is the most comfortable thing. Like cloth pads se zyada wo main prefer karti hu jab I'm traveling, because it is easy to dry, very quick dry. And cloth pads take some time. It needs like good sun. So I personally have a mix of these 3 products, which all are like one-time investment. Ebare kinibo lage আপোনাৰ লগত মানে 5 বছৰৰ পৰা 5 বছৰৰ পৰা 10 বছৰলৈকে থাকিব সেইবোৰ বস্তু. Thank you.